Final show of the semester, and what a great hour we have. Mitch Thompson will join us later in the hour, Baylor baseball. But, folks, leading off, we have Baylor's Director of Athletics, Mack Rhoades, with us. So, Mack, welcome to you.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Thank you for being here. This group right here, this is a diehard, loyal group. So they have been very, very good, very consistent in their attendance.
Yes, absolutely. We have Ann here in the audience, 100%.
100%.
100% better attendance than you, right?
Yes, better than me.
And me, so for certain me. So, but it's great to see everybody and be with all of you. And again, thank you for everything you do for us. So you are such a big part of our success. So grateful for each and every one of you.
Yeah. Well, appreciate you. Also, you're busy. That is stating the obvious, but thanks for making time to be here. We got a lot to cover in the next half hour with you. The house settlement, transfer portal, spring sports, so many things to talk about and get your input on. A lot of things. You are the only one in the athletic department that can share this kind of information. So thank you for that.
Oh, my pleasure. So let's dive in.
Yeah. How about and college football playoff also? Let's start with that. You were on the committee last year. You've been named the chair for the committee. Congratulations on that. That's a real coup for you, but a real coup for Baylor also, isn't it?
Yeah. I've said this before, and it needs to be said every time I'm asked about it. But that was a we appointment, and again, I feel really strongly about that, and because of Baylor's national reputation. Not just we think about it locally here in Waco, and then regionally, Central Texas, all of that, but certainly nationally. And so Baylor's a big part of that. I also have a terrific staff that picks up all of the pieces and make sure that all the trains are running on time, and while I'm out doing that, so couldn't do that without them. And first year was such an honor, and it really was. It's such a privilege. College football is a special national entity, right? That people just across our country absolutely love, and it brings people together. And so, just to be able to be a part of it and think about the importance of just college football for our country and making sure we get it right for student athletes and all of that. So it's a blessing. It's a pleasure. Grateful to the commissioners for trusting me. But we have great committee members, and so looking forward to continue to work with the returning committee members and then also the new members. So that's the best thing about it. It's just a great group of people to just be around and spend time with.
Man, that is so great. Time-wise, how do you personally budget your time in that season?
Yeah, it's it's difficult. It starts really the minute your first football game and begins of the season, and even before then. But we watch a ton of film. I feel like I'm a football coach. I mean,
right.
We all have these really cool iPads, and we by the time we wake up Sunday morning, we have every game at the FBS level on that iPad.
Yeah.
And so we watch probably 20 to 25 games, just to prepare for the meetings. And so I'll start, Sunday morning and go up until midnight. And then, you're starting back Monday. And then, when we begin the meetings, the first ranking, right, that first week of November, we then begin meeting at around 1 o'clock on that Monday. And we finish up, that Tuesday. And now, being chair, I'll have to stay through Tuesday night just to do all of the media stuff. So it's quite a commitment by everybody, but I will tell you all 13 committee members do a great job of really putting the time in.
Yeah. Well, again, congratulations to you on that. This is only an hour show. Your part's only 30 minutes, but can you give us an overview, a snapshot of the House settlement and just sort of where we stand right now?
Yeah, can we just get this thing signed? We certainly hope that Judge Wilkins approves the settlement, officially approves the settlement. And, probably if I had to guess and anticipate, I think there's, about a 2-week window. And I think it's probably the latter half of that 2-week window. But it'd be good just to get it done, over with. We've been operating, for months, in excess of a year, just with uncertainty, and that's really hard to do for everybody. I'll tell you, our coaches have been unbelievable. It's really hard to deal with the uncertainty and not having clarity of how exactly rosters are going to work. What's it going to look like in terms of NIL? Are we going to get to revenue share, not revenue share, when we think about the house revenue pool? What's our scholarship count going to be, numbers? So all of that is part of this equation. And so just to get it settled, finalized, we've been working, tremendously. We probably ran over 100 models just to, how is Baylor going to do this? But we're in a good place, and, hopefully, again, it's approved and we can move forward. And, I've said this before publicly, that this has a chance to be a really good settlement, in my opinion, if two things happen. We've got to have guidelines and guardrails, around NIL in the future. And we can't continue to operate in this space where it's just pay for play. It's not sustainable, and it's not healthy. I'm all for sharing revenues and with student athletes, and having student athletes earn real NIL opportunities. But what we're doing right now is not healthy for college athletics. So we need real guardrails in the future for NIL, and then contracts have to matter. You can't just sign a contract and it means nothing, and then you can just go off to the next place. What are we doing if contracts mean nothing? And a head coach has a contract. If they leave, they pay a penalty. An athletic director has a contract. They leave before that contract's over, they pay a penalty. And so we need contracts to matter. So and if those things happen, and on top of that we get federal legislation, I truly believe we need federal legislation alongside this, then I think college athletics gets to a place where it's sustainable, it's healthy. There's more of an even playing field for everybody, and then we can stop all of this, what I'm going to call nonsense that we're going through right now. I was on the phone with Scott Drew just walking in. Right. As we just think about what happened to the basketball roster. So looking forward to getting it settled and moving forward.
Continuing with Mack Rhoades, Baylor's Director of Athletics. We got a lot of sports going on right now. Let's touch on as many of those as we can. Mitch Thompson will be here later. Amber Thompson is here right now. How about baseball? Big series, 3 conference series remaining in this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And even though Amber's here, let's talk about Mitch while he's not here. So let's do that. Let's lead with baseball. But I think I think the program has taken great strides forward, and so really proud of Mitch and what we've done. And right now our baseball team's in the position on the bubble. We're probably not on the right side of the bubble right now, but we have opportunity in front of us. We have 10 remaining games left in the regular season, and as you think about, 9 of those are conference opponents. And this weekend, starting tomorrow, we have Arizona State here at the Baylor ballpark, and so come on out, support our baseball team. But we have a chance, and I think if we can, those 9 conference games, 6-3, 7-2, I think we have a real chance for postseason. And again, he's done a tremendous job in terms of just moving the program forward in a really changing environment, as we've continued to talk about NIL, transfer portal, all of that. It is much harder in many regards, and particularly in the sport of baseball, when you think about trying to move a program forward. So he's done a wonderful, wonderful job. So.
Softball left town today. They play at Iowa State, a 3-game series this weekend. They're trying to up their RPI to get in the NCAA tournament. And Glenn and his team have really dealt with some key injuries this year.
Yeah, they really did. The first half of the season was really tough, struggle, and but now they're surging, and they've turned it around here a little bit. And they have the last series of the regular season at Iowa State, and so if we can go win that series and then go win a couple games in Oklahoma City, we'll have again an opportunity for them to get to postseason. And for all of us that are Baylor fans, we love both of those individuals leading our programs, both Mitch and Glenn, and have done such a great job.
Yeah, very good. Tennis, men's and women's tennis opens play in the NCAAs this weekend, and then they hopefully will come right back around hosting the NCAA championships here in Tennistown, USA. Waco is Tennistown, USA.
Yeah, Waco will be the mecca of college tennis, and what a wonderful opportunity to host the national championships, and grateful for the facilities that we have where we're able to do that. Obviously the late Mark Hurd comes to mind, and certainly Paula, and just what tremendous people and their love for Baylor, and so because of them we have this wonderful opportunity. And then both Michael and Joey have done a great job. Men ranked 18th in the country right now, and they're headed to College Station. I think they play Nebraska up first, and then women's tennis ranked 22nd in the country, headed down south to Austin, and I think they play Boise State. So I'll call Jeremiah and give him
that's right.
I'm going to wait until we beat Boise State, and then I'm going to call Jeremiah and give him a little bit of a hard time. But again, those two programs, just continue to do really, really well, and proud of Michael, Joey, and our student athletes.
How about acrobatics and tumbling, coached by the GOAT, the best program in the world, isn't it?
She is. If you're ever having a bad day and you just need somebody to lift you up, I'm telling you, go spend 10 minutes with Fee. She's tremendous, and you just think, it's hard to win one national championship, and then it's hard to repeat and win a second one, let alone 10 in a row. And just a tremendous job by her. And when you think about her program and the culture of her program, it embodies what Baylor's all about when we think about preparing champions for life. She does such a great job with that, such great culture within the program. I'm looking forward to, she has spearheaded nationally this sport. She really, really has, and has carried it on her back. And we're a year or two away from it becoming a NCAA championship sport. And so really looking forward to that. But, 10 in a row, great job, unbelievable, never gets old.
Yeah. Congratulations to acrobatics and tumbling. Women's golf in the NCAA tournament, track and field is still rolling. Those are the other sports that are going on right now.
Yeah, I said this, I was speaking at the Baylor Blitz, but it was so cool. The Michael Johnson invite, I got to be there and part of the senior tribute. 26 seniors are going to graduate from that program, and Mike Ford and that staff do such a great job with them holistically. And the women are number 6 in the country right now. I think that's kind of like a hidden secret, and that's something that we probably need to talk about more. But they've had a great year, and you think about Alexis Brown, national champion, and in the long jump, and so really, really good stuff. So. Really good stuff.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yep.
You mentioned the Blitz. That was last Saturday, wrapped up spring football practice. Really cool agenda there in the final practice of spring. What have you seen through spring football, and what do you look forward to in the fall?
I thought, first of all, the Baylor Blitz, I thought it was really well done.
Yeah.
And, that's the trend when we think about just all of the change. And, very, very few now actual spring games. Why, Mack, are there very few spring games?
For good reason.
Well, because of transfer portal and because of NIL. And so it's impacted everything. And so, as we shifted, how do we still have some type of a real practice and then celebration. And then for Dave, it's just really important to him to give back to the community and get his young men, our young men, our student athletes connected with community, and particularly with the youth of our community, the youth in Waco. And, you know, it was something, that clinic that we did prior to the practice, we actually did something like that pre the Texas Bowl.
Oh, yeah, right,
and they had organized where we were doing a clinic for young people. And it was at that moment that Dave said, "Hey, I want to do something like that for the youth, for our young kids in Waco." And you know, you think about, he even runs a camp that's $25 an individual, and if you know pricing of camps, that's about the lowest price you're going to find anywhere. And he just wants them to, you know, be part of it, and it's a two-way street. It's great for the young people here in Waco, but it's also great for our young men just to be able to give back and pour into those young people. So football, man, I think, you know, when you think about the upcoming season, you know, you think really, really optimistic. You know, last year, Jake and the staff were just doing the installs, and so you're now 1 year into that, so there's familiarity. You have, you know, an established quarterback coming in, and when you think at some of our key skill positions, you know, I think we're well off there, and I certainly think about Josh Cameron and Bryce Washington. Our offensive line returns 4 of 5, and so you feel really, really good there. And then, you know, defensively, I like our chances. I love the fact that, you know, this will be Dave's second year calling it, and I think you'll see him even a lot more comfortable in terms of calling the defense. And I think we'll be, you know, you think about Keaton Thomas and all, Big 12 player returning, and Jackie Marshall. And so I think we'll have a chance to do really, really well there. You know, he added Paul Gonzalez to the staff, and I think Paul has had a huge impact when we think about our defensive backs, et cetera. So like it, tough schedule, as you know. First 4 games, you know, we start off at home with Auburn, and then at SMU. I'm not sure who in the heck scheduled that one. And then, you know, you have a second playoff team in week 4 against Arizona State. So we're going to find out how good of a football team we are pretty early in the year. Continuing with Mack
Rhoades, Baylor's Director of Athletics, Mitch Thompson joins us bottom of the hour. But first, we've got some questions from the audience for you. You okay with these?
Absolutely.
Okay. Bob Barrett, Mr. Bob Barrett, right back there. Bob's going to grill you a little bit. Will Mack Rhoades, or if not who, decide how the $20.5 million gets split between the various sports? And he adds, Michael Woodson says $10 million should go to men's tennis.
Of course he does. And
no surprise.
I'll start with, if you like the way we're distributing it, then it's my decision. If you don't, then it was somebody else's decision. So, you know, it's, when I talked about 100 models, I mean, literally we looked at all kinds of different models and how we're going to distribute those monies. And, you know, one of the things that you do is you look to see what everybody else is doing, because this is all about being competitive. And so this was not a race we wanted to be first to the finish line. We wanted to wait and kind of see how most people were handling it. And so, you know, what we learned, you know, certainly obvious that you're going to take care of football, men's and women's basketball. And then, you know, what's that next step in terms of the sports programs? And so we took a look, you know, certainly, you know, what others were doing, but then also we took a look, quite frankly, and just honestly, just brand impact. You know, what sport programs really have a national reach, and so beyond Waco, beyond Central Texas, but really a national reach. And so, you know, like most, we'll revenue share primarily with 5 to 6 sports. You know, other competitors, that number's, you know, somewhere from probably 4 to 8, you know, depending upon who they are. And so that's how we'll distribute the house revenue share monies. NIL opportunities will still be opportunities for everyone. We're going to add more scholarships, new scholarships to several of our programs. And, that's a big lift, particularly when you think about a private school cost of tuition, and so we've got a model. We're ready to do that. We've shared it. We've talked to all of our coaches. They know already. So again, whenever the settlement is announced. Whenever she approves that, again, assuming she approves it, we'll be ready to move forward. So.
Very good. Very good. Good question, Bob. This is a topic for another day, but I'm sure you've seen University of Kentucky created an LLC with their athletic department, and they're really the first ones, aren't they, to step out and do something like that?
Well, there's about 5 right now that are already kind of separate from the institution, their own LLC. Florida comes to mind, Louisville comes to mind, and I know there's a couple others, but it's interesting, and probably the primary reason for them is under university rules, they can't get into some private-public partnerships.
Gotcha.
and explore those. And so, everybody right now, we're all, how can we find creative ways to generate more revenue? When, all of a sudden now you have, $20.5 million more per year. And so I would suspect that there'll be more institutions that take a close look at it. There's a lot of rules, when you think about university procurement rules, all of those things that maybe by going that route, it alleviates some of that. You have some more freedoms. What I think is interesting is that their model, they will still be governed by the Kentucky Board of Regents. There are some models where it's a separate board that actually governs it, and so Kentucky was intentional in terms of how they organize theirs, and so again, not surprising, and I think you'll see more of it.
Gotcha. Thanks for that. Joel Allison right here. Joel has a great question. Is conference realignment going to be a constant issue? Will Big 12 look to add any more teams?
Yeah, so it's a great question, and I think everybody's going to take a little bit of a deep breath once we get through this settlement piece, and just see where truly the dust settles here in the next 12 to 18 months, and what it looks like for every athletic department, what it looks like for every sport program, and so we'll see what happens. Will the Big 12 explore any additions? And I would just say, they would have to add value in football. That's my opinion. When you think about TV contracts for conferences, 85% of that is football. And so if you're going to do it, there has to be real value there. And your media partners, believe in that value and are going to invest in that value. A lot of conversation about, hey, is there going to be, 2 super leagues? Is there going to be, 40? All of that. And I think it remains to be seen. I think it's really hard to predict, just given everything that goes on. I talk to our staff all the time. We've got to control what we can control, and so if we can become and we continue to become the best version of ourselves, we're going to be okay. If it's top 40, if it's Super League, we truly, and I believe that. And, I'll say it again, our best days are still ahead of us. I truly believe that. This is a tough stretch, a rough patch, so to speak, but we're going to get through this, and we'll be in great position. And, again, best day still ahead of us.
That's a great way to wrap things up. Mack, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Thanks for your leadership. Appreciate you very much.
Appreciate you.
Thanks very much. Mack Rhoades, Baylor's Director of Athletics.